Welcome back, grade 12 to Medicine Science Series Life Sciences with Spongile. It's another lesson, and we are continuing with Meiosis 1. So, previously we ended up at Meiosis and Metaphase 1 of Meiosis 1. So, now we're continuing where we find out in Metaphase 1 that the homologous chromosomes will randomly align at the equator, and then the spindle fibers will attach to the centromeres, and then now we find out what happens next in meiosis 1, anaphase 1. So in anaphase 1, meiosis 1, what basically happens now is that the homologous chromosomes will be pulled apart to the opposite poles by the short spindle fibers. So the spindle fibers, remember, they're attached to the centromere, right? And then now we find out that in anaphase they became short. So as they were being short, they were also pulling the chromosomes to the opposite poles, and then that's why we ended up with a cell that looks like that. And then what is the other phase after anaphase 1? This one is as simple as it is. This is just how it is, and this is how it's always gonna be, anaphase. And so we move to the next phase after anaphase 1, and then we have telophase 1 of meiosis 1. So basically in telophase 1, what happens is that each cell has half the chromosomal number of the original cell. Obviously, they are following the principle of meiosis, right? That the diploid cell will divide into 4 haploid cells. So, like I said to you, the chromosomal number here does not remain constant. The cells that are formed as products of meiosis, they need to have half the chromosomal number of the diploid cell, of which I told you that diploid, it means that there's 46 chromosomes, right? And so if it's haploid, it is half of 46, which is 23. This is what they're telling you, that in telophase, now that we have 2 new cells that are formed, they have half the chromosomal number of the original cell before the entire cell division took place. And so they also tells us that the cell membrane reappears by the occurrence of cytokinesis, because yes, now we are forming 2 new cells, right? But this will not end here, because in meiosis we know that we're not going to have 2 daughter cells, but we are going to have 4. So what will happen from here? These 2 new cells that have formed, which is this one and this one, they will also undergo meiosis. That's why we have meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. So meiosis 2 is underwent by the new cells that were